Hello everyone. So in this series of videos, we are going to learn Matplotlib, which is a data visualization library in Python. Matplotlib provides different functionalities with the help of which we can draw interesting and creative graphs, and we can also save them. With the help of Matplotlib, it is easy to visualize different kinds of data, and we can draw charts like line plot, bar graph, scatter plot, histograms, area plot, stack plot, pie charts, and we are going to learn all of them. So in this tutorial, we are going to we are going to learn line charts, how we can draw line charts and what are the requirements of line charts. So the data I'm going to use is the auto MPG dataset, which you can get at a UCI machine learning repository and on Kaggle as well. By the end of this video, I will attach the link of the Jupyter notebook and the data as well in the description of the video, so you don't have to worry about it. So before we move to data visualization, we need to remove the null values in the dataset. So I have already removed the null values of the dataset, and you can see how we can remove the null values. And I hope you already know how to remove null values. If you don't, you can just simply follow these steps and then the null values will be removed. So let's see how we can draw line charts with a matplotlib. So in order to use matplotlib, we need to import matplotlib. So how we can import matplotlib? Import matplotlib dot pyplot as plt. So this is the standard way of importing matplotlib. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a line chart between mpg, that is miles per gallon, and displacement. So how we can do that? Plt.plot, which is a function used to plot line charts. I want mpg on the x-axis and I want displacement on the y-axis. And in order to show the graph, I will write plt.show. So as you can see, it is so easy to plot a line chart, but this line chart is not interpretable because we don't know what is there on the x-axis, what is there on the y-axis. So let's see how we can label the axis. How we can label the axis. I'm going to plot a different chart every time I add a new thing to it so that we can see the difference. So how we can label the axis? Plt.xlabel is the function we use to label the x-axis. So on x-axis we have mpg, and plt.ylabel, on ylabel we have displacement. So now I'm going to run this. So as you can see, now you have labels on y-axis. Here there were no labels, but we have with the help of plt.xlabel and plt.ylabel, we have incorporated label as well. So how you can actually give a title to your plot is plt.title, and then you can just write any title you want. Trend between mpg and I'm going to write mpg and displacement. So this way you can just label your axis and give the title. Also, you can increase the size of the title if you want with the help of size is equals to 20. As you can see, the size is bigger now, and you can same way you can increase the size of the labels of x-axis. I always keep the size of the labels smaller than the size of the title for obvious reasons, because title is bigger and it should look different. So as you can see this way, and if you want your labels to be in bold, what you can do is just you can write font weight is equals to bold, and in similar fashion you can just copy and paste over here, and then you can see the label axis labels are bold, and the same way you can do with the title part. So as you can see, the title is also bold now. So now what if you want grid lines in your chart? What if you want grid lines in your chart and you want to change the color of your chart? By default, Matplot gives blue color by default. We can change the colors, so you don't have to worry. So let's give a grid to our chart. I'm going to remove the bold part. So let's just keep it plt.grid. Now you can see the grids, and there were no grids, and here we have grids. So, and let's see how we can change the color now. So in order to change the color, you have to go this plotting function. You have to go add this plotting function, and then you write color is equals to, let's say I want green color. So you just write green and then you run it. So you have the green color. And instead of writing the full name, you can just pass the initials. Like, this is not true for every color, because Matplotlib does provide string directors for small number of colors. The list of string directors you will get in the description of the video. So in order to, instead of writing green, you can just write G. So that simply means green. And if you want yellow, you can just write Y. So you will get the yellow in color. And if you want black, so it's kind of different. Black is K. So in order to have a black color, you have to pass the initial K. So this way you can change the color of your plot. Now let's see how you can actually change the line. Currently, we are plotting a line chart with solid line. We can change the line style also. So how we can change the line style is basically just go to the plotting function and then go line style. So let's say I want a dotted line. I want a dotted line. So you have to write like this. Line style is equals to this. And now you see you have a dotted line. So let's say if you want a dashed line, so you have to write like this. So you have a dashed line. And let's say if you want a dash and a dotted line, so you want dash and a dotted line, so you have to write like this, dash and dotted. Okay, so I guess I did a mistake. Okay, sorry. It is not dot and dash, it is dash and dot. So yeah, so you can see is there is dash and dot both. So this way you can change the line style of your plot, line style of your line chart. Now, what if we want to plot two line charts on the same plot so that we can compare between more than two variables? So we can do that as well. So how we can do that? So let's start the graph from the very basic plt.plot, and I'm going to use again mpg, and I'm going to use displacement, and the other plot which I'm going to plot is basically mpg versus horsepower. So in order to create two line charts on the same graph, you just have to write another plotting line just below the first line. So you just need to keep one axis common so that you can compare. So horsepower, and then plt.show. Okay, so I guess, okay, again, okay. So as you can see, there are two plots now, blue and orange, but again, there are no labels on the x-axis, there are no labels on the y-axis. We do not know what is this blue color for, we do not know what is this orange color for, and we do not have any title. So let's customize our graph so that we can read it easily. So first of all, in order to differentiate what color represents what, so we need to pass a label. So label is equals to displacement. And let's say I want to change the color. I want color equals to green. And then the next graph represents horsepower. So label equals to horsepower, and I want color equals to, say, red. Now, in order to put up a legend, we need to call the legend function, which actually pastes labels on the graph so that it is kind of a index which represents what color represents what. So as you can see now, it is easy to differentiate. Green color is representing displacement and red color is representing horsepower. Let's label the axis now, plt.xlabel. And now we have two things on the y label. So I'm going to write both the things, displacement space horsepower. So this way, and also I'm going to put up a grid, plt dot grid. So this way we can just create two line charts on the same graph. Now, what if like this graph is kind of small? So what if you want to increase the size of your graph? What if you want to increase the size of your graph? So how we can increase the size of the graph? So just before plotting the graph, we have to use plt.figure fig size. Plt.figure is a function in which there is a parameter fig size which accepts two values as a tuple x comma y, which is an aspect ratio of x-axis versus y-axis. So let's say if you want your x-axis to be long and your y-axis to be short, you can just put up a larger number in the x-axis and a smaller number in the y-axis. So as you can see, your x-axis is long and as compared to your y-axis. If you want a square, then you can just write 8,8 or 10,10, whatever suits you or whatever suits your requirement. Now, what other things we can do? So what other things we can do is we can also put markers. So for example, what do I mean by markers? So let's say I just copy, let me just copy this one. I'm going to copy this graph and I'm going to paste this. So if you see this graph, like how you can plot a graph, you just basically plot a graph by connecting the common points. Like for example, 10 comma, like for example, there is a point on the x-axis and there is a point on the y-axis. So you want those points to be visible, So you can write marker is equals to O, which represents circle. So as you can see the markers. You can see the markers over there in this bird line chart. You can see markers, and you can plot different markers. Marker D is for diamonds, and you can O is for circle, and you can also give star as a star marker. And if you want marker as a plus sign, you can also put plus. So this way you can change the style of your marker. Also, you can change the size of the marker. And if you want what all parameters you have in your plotting, you can just put up the cursor on the function and then press Shift Tab. This will give up a pop-up window in which you can see what all things you can do, and most probably they will also provide some examples. If you go down, yeah, they have examples. So you can just go and press Shift Tab, go to the function and just press Shift Tab, and this way you can change the marker. Also, we can change the marker size. Let's say you want marker size to be 10. So you can see the markers are bigger now. And if you want small markers, you can just write marker size is equals to 5. Marker size is equals to 10. It's all up to your requirement. So we have covered, so what all we have covered in this tutorial, we have covered how we can draw simple line chart. Then we covered how we can label the axis and how we can change the font size and the font weight. And then we learn how we can actually add the grid and how we can actually change the color of the plot. Then we saw how we can change the line style, different line styles, dotted, dashed, or dotted dash both. Then we see how we can plot two line charts on the same graph. And also we learned how we can put legends. Then we learned how we can increase the figure size, And then we learned how we can change the marker, what all different markers are available, and how we can change the marker size. Also, one pretty important thing which you can do is basically there are inbuilt styles available in Matplotlib. And in order to see what all styles are available in Matplotlib, so you have to do plt.style.available. Then you can just write, sorry, you don't have to write anything, plt.style.available. So as you can see, these are the available styles you can use. So in order to use any of the styles, you can just copy paste the name, let's say 538, and then where we have imported the Matplotlib, oh, this way, and then plt dot style dot use, and I want to use the 538 part, and then just hit run. So now the theme of the charts will be totally changed. See, this is done by 538 style. This is done by 538 style. And if you run this one, this is also, now this is very, very amazing because you know that there are a lot of styles available and they provide their own documentation, they provide their own colors. That is really great. And if you read, if you run these graphs, like the grid is not visible because they provide their own grid. So if you also provide the grid function, the grid will be off. So now the grid is available. So as you can see, they all work, like the theme is totally changed. The theme is totally changed. The colors are more popped up and they're more vibrant. So this is pretty much really interesting to use. And using another theme is just easy as copy pasting the name, plt.style.use 538. Instead you just write plt.style.ggplot, and then you have this kind of theme. So let me just show you what it actually looks like, because we have already changed the size and the font weight, and there are a lot of things we can do, and we will be learning in future as well. So let's create a very basic plt.plot, again df mpg, so that I just want to show the basic properties, inbuilt properties of the ggplot style. Displacement plt.show, and I'm going to label the axis plt.xlabel, and plt.xlabel is mpg, plt.ylabel is displacement, and then you show. So this is basically the color, the inbuilt theme of ggplot. So obviously the line is bold, and again every line style will work over here as well. Every line style will work over here as well. So as you can see, and the title works same way as the others. So one more thing you can do is how you can switch back to the default style. How you can switch back to the default style. It is very easy. Just write plt.style.use, then default. And here we are back with the default style. So now one more thing, you can actually change the width of the line. Like the line is thin, but you can actually change that as well. So line width, I guess the default is 1. So we are going to, let's say I put 2. So now you can see it's quite a bold now. And if I put up 3, so it's more bold. So that way you can change the line of, you can change the line width of the plot. So now the most important part and the end of the tutorial is basically how you can save your graph. How you can save your graph. So basically, let's say I want to save this graph. I want to save this graph. Let's say I want, let's say I give a title to this graph, plt.title comparison between displacement and horsepower. So that way I gave a title, comparison between displacement, and I want to save this, and I want to save this figure. So in order to save this figure, you just have to write plt.savefig, and then you just pass the path where you want to store your figure. So I want to store in my downloads folder, and then you name the file is basically line chart, and then what extension you want. You can pass the JPEG and the PNG. PNG is always better because the colors will look really good in the PNG format. And if you just hit figure, then the chart is automatically saved. You can go and check your directory. So this is for the line chart. I hope you were able to understand every part and why we actually use different functions to customize our plots. So please do share and subscribe to my channel and share the video. So and hit the bell icon so that you can keep yourself updated with the future videos. Thank you so much and have a good day.